She lied about everything, until I found her hidden life. Before we dive into this wild roller coaster of secrets, betrayal, and twisted love, welcome to the Vault Seekers. If you're into true-to-life storytelling that grabs your soul and leaves you thinking, hit that subscribe button, smash the like, and turn on the bell, so you never miss what's hiding behind the next door in the vault. Let's unlock this one. If you're ready, I met Mia on the second floor of an apartment complex I never planned to visit again. It was raining like hell that day, fat, heavy drops that made the world look blurry, like a bad memory you can't quite see but still feel in your chest. She was standing there, barefoot, wrapped in a towel, locked out of her own apartment. I offered her my umbrella. She laughed and said, "What am I supposed to do with that? I'm already wet." That was Mia. Beautiful, reckless, magnetic, and soaked in trouble I didn't recognize until it was too late. I should have walked away right then. But I didn't. I gave her my hoodie, sat on the steps beside her, and before I knew it, we were talking like we'd known each other in another life. That's how it always starts, right? You think it's fate. You don't realize it's a setup. Fast forward 6 months, and we were living together. I was renting a 2-bedroom condo on the edge of Easton Ridge. She had moved in with just 3 boxes, a gold necklace, and one rule. Don't ever ask me about my past. I didn't. I should have. There were little signs at first, things you brush off because you're happy, or you think you are. She never let me touch her phone, always turned its screen down. She kept a second phone in a box labeled old chargers. She always said she worked night shifts at a hotel, but somehow never smelled like lobby or cleaning spray. Just perfume, fresh clothes, and sometimes a man's cologne that she'd say was from a cab driver who hugged her. The moment I knew something was off, it was the night of our anniversary. I'd planned the whole thing. Dinner at Harrow's, rose petals on the bed, even a Spotify playlist named Mia's World. But she came home late, hair done differently, eyes heavy, lips swollen like she'd been biting them too much. I asked her if everything was okay. She smiled like a cat with blood on its chin and said, "Of course, babe. I'm just tired." That night, she passed out cold, and something told me, deep, primal, unshakable, check her phone. The one in the charger box. It wasn't locked, and it changed everything. There were texts, videos, voice notes, not just with one man, 3. One of them she called Daddy Black, another was saved as Old Flame, and the last was under gym membership, with messages that had nothing to do with treadmills. Last night was insane. Still can't believe we pulled it off in the club bathroom. Your man has no clue, does he? I miss the way you choke me. When can we do it again? I read them all. I couldn't breathe. I was frozen. I wasn't even mad. Not at first, just hollow. Like someone had scooped my insides out and replaced them with static. I put the phone back. Didn't say a word. I needed a plan. And that's where things twisted. The morning after I read her messages, I acted like nothing happened. Made coffee, played our Good Vibes Only playlist, even kissed her forehead as she brushed past me, towel around her waist, humming like someone who hadn't just murdered trust in cold blood. Inside, I was in full detective mode. You know that feeling when your mind becomes a surveillance camera and every second feels like evidence? That was me. She left around 6:47 a.m., claiming her shift started early, but I'd already checked. She hadn't worked a real job in months. The hotel she said she worked for? They had no record of a Mia Valen ever being employed. So I followed her, rented a scooter, stayed 3 cars back, watched her Uber her way to a condo in the Willow Heights complex. She had a key, walked right in, and stayed there for 4 hours. When she finally came out, she was glowing. Not just, I took a nap, glowing. Nah, this was that post-rec glow, hair messy, dress wrinkled, neck marked. I snapped a photo. I don't even know why. Maybe to prove to myself it was real. Maybe to remind myself not to forgive her later. But here's where it got even sicker. That night, she brought me takeout from the same restaurant she had just been at, with him. And she said, I quote, "I wanted to bring you a piece of my day." A piece of her day. That line did something to me. I started going through her trash when she wasn't home. She had a second SIM card hidden in a tampon box. I found it taped under the bathroom sink. That's how I learned about the fourth guy, a married man, with kids. And the kicker? She had been recording us, me and her, our private moments, and sending them to him. I sat in our living room in the dark, just watching one of the videos. She was on top of me, whispering things in my ear, things I thought were for me. But in the caption she sent him, she wrote, "He really thinks I'm saying this for him. LMAO. It hit me then. Mia wasn't just cheating. She was performing, feeding off secrets like oxygen. She needed this, the lies, the masks, the power. But you know what hurt most? I still loved her. You ever love someone while knowing they're killing you slowly? It's a messed up kind of high. I wanted revenge, but not the cheap kind, not yelling or smashing her stuff or going online to expose her. That's not my style. I wanted to understand her. So I did the most dangerous thing I've ever done. I pretended I didn't know. I got closer. I asked more questions. I got her talking about her past, her traumas, her first love, her darkest thoughts. She started to open up, told me about the preacher who touched her when she was 12, the mother who used to lock her in closets when she cried, the therapist she slept with at 17 because he said I was special. Suddenly I wasn't just hurt. I was haunted. This woman wasn't just a liar. She was broken, but that didn't excuse it. And just when I thought I had the full picture, one night, as she showered, I airdropped myself a video she had forgotten to delete. It wasn't a sex tape. It was a confession to one of her lovers. She said, "I'm only with him because I need the money. He's boring, but he's useful. I'm milking him until I'm out of this lease. Then I'm yours." I paused it, replayed it. "I'm only with him because I need the money." That was the last nail. But this story's not over. Because the next chapter? That's when she realized I knew. And what she did after that? Made everything worse. I left the video open on her iPad. Not paused, not minimized. Just sitting there, volume up, full screen. I wanted her to know I'd seen it. Every word, every lie, every twisted manipulation behind that soft voice and perfect smile. She came home at 10:14 p.m. I was on the couch, lights low, pretending to scroll Instagram. The iPad was propped up on the kitchen counter like bait. It took her 3 seconds to see it, and maybe 1 to realize everything had shifted. Her footsteps slowed. Silence. Then she called out, "Did you see something on my iPad?" I didn't answer. She walked closer. Mia's voice changed when she was cornered. Softer, sweeter, more fragile than real, like honey hiding poison. "Babe, talk to me." I turned and looked her dead in the face. I know everything, all of it. She didn't deny it, didn't scream, didn't cry. She just smiled, not the kind of smile that says I'm sorry. Number. It was the kind of smile a villain gives when you finally uncover their master plan, and they're proud of you for figuring it out. "You went through my things?" she asked calmly. "You lied about everything," I said. "Did I?" she whispered. "Or did I just let you believe what you wanted?" I stood up. My fists were clenched, but my voice stayed low. "What was I? A wallet? A camera? A doormat?" She stepped forward, placed her hand on my chest like she still owned me. "You were comfort, security, a way to breathe while I figured myself out. You used me." She nodded slowly, and then said the most chilling line I've ever heard from anyone. "Everyone uses someone. I just don't fake it." That was it. I told her to leave. She laughed, said, "You think it's that easy? You really don't know who I am." That night, she disappeared, packed a bag, kissed me on the cheek, and walked out without a single tear. I thought it was over. It wasn't. 2 days later, I got a call from an unknown number. The voice on the other end? A woman. Is this Marcus? Yes. Who's this? I'm the wife of the man Mia's been sleeping with, the one she called Daddy Black. I froze. She continued. She's gone, vanished, and I know you're the last person who saw her. What do you mean, gone? I mean, her job doesn't know where she is, her friends haven't seen her, and my husband said she never showed up that night. I think she's running from something. Or someone. My blood ran cold. Because 2 hours before that call, I'd received an anonymous email. No subject line, just a video attachment. I clicked it. It was a grainy clip from what looked like a parking garage. Mia, standing with a duffel bag, looking around nervously. Then a man approached her, tall, bald, tattoo on his neck. He grabbed her arm, whispered something. She handed him the bag. He slapped her. Hard. Then the footage cut. I tried to trace the email. Burner account. No IP trail. Was she kidnapped? Or was this another one of her twisted games? I couldn't sleep that night. Every creak in the walls sounded like footsteps. Every shadow moved like a ghost. She was everywhere and nowhere. The next morning, I went to the police. Filed a missing person report. They asked the usual questions. When did I last see her? Was she in danger? Did she have enemies? I hesitated on that last one, because the truth is, Mia was the enemy. And deep down, I wasn't sure if I wanted her to be found. But what I found, instead, would change everything I thought I knew about her, and about myself. 3 days after filing the report, I got a call from Detective Torres. Mr. Lane, we found her car. It had been abandoned near a marina about 40 minutes outside the city. Doors unlocked, no signs of struggle. But in the back seat, a blood-stained hoodie. Her hoodie. I drove there in silence. Every second felt like a countdown to either closure or chaos. When I got there, Torres was already taping off the scene. You said she left the house calmly, he asked. No argument? No threats? She kissed me on the cheek, I said, staring at the hoodie. And that didn't strike you as odd? No, detective. Everything she did was odd. They let me see the inside of the car, and that's when I noticed it. Wedged beneath the passenger seat, barely visible, a motel keycard. Mira Inn. Room 205. I didn't tell Torres. I pocketed it and drove straight there. I had to know. Had to see it with my own eyes. The Mira Inn was the kind of place that looked like it hosted more secrets than guests. I walked in, said I left something in my girlfriend's room, flashed the key card, and the front desk guy, half asleep and not interested, just waved me off. Room 205 was upstairs, second door on the left. I pushed it open slowly. It was dark, stale air, open suitcase, torn photos on the floor, photos of me, cut down the middle, my face gone, just her standing beside emptiness. On the nightstand, there was a burner phone still charging. I opened it. No lock. Inside? Messages. To someone saved as HIM. He's getting suspicious. Might have to disappear for a bit. Found the files. He's not just broke. He's in debt to people who don't play games. Should I send the account numbers? Almost done draining him. Then we vanish. My chest tightened. This wasn't about sex. This was a setup. Mia had been robbing me blind. The late night shifts. The strange interest in my passwords. Even the fake job she claimed to have. She wasn't working. She was watching me, studying me, and him, whoever that was, had been coaching her the whole time. I was never the man she loved. I was the mark, and I was drowning while smiling like a fool. Just then, I heard something. Footsteps, coming up the hallway. I dropped the phone, slipped into the bathroom, heart pounding. Door cracked an inch, the knob turned, and there she was, Mia, alive, calm, hair tied up, backpack slung over her shoulder. She entered the room like she'd never left it. No panic. no fear. She walked to the phone, scrolled through the messages, then said softly to herself, "Too late, baby. He already knows." She turned toward the mirror and froze. She saw me. Our eyes locked. Neither of us moved. Then she smiled, that same twisted smile. "You came," she whispered. "I always do," I said, even when I shouldn't. She stepped closer. I could smell her perfume, that same vanilla amber scent I used to crave. I was going to come back, just needed space. "You were going to vanish with my money." She didn't flinch. Instead, she leaned in, whispered in my ear, "You still love me." I pushed her away. But she was right. A small, stupid part of me still did. And that part almost got me killed. Because in the next second, the motel door slammed open, and two men rushed in. One of them, the man from the garage footage, tattoo on his neck. The other wore a police badge, Detective Torres. But instead of stopping the chaos, he smiled at her and said, "We've got him." That's when I realized this whole thing wasn't just Mia. It was a setup. And I had just walked straight into the final move. They cuffed me right there on the motel floor. Torres, Detective Torres, read me my rights like it was routine. No hesitation, no blink, like this had been planned. Because it was. The moment those cold cuffs clicked, I knew this wasn't justice. This was a performance. "You're under arrest for stalking, identity theft, and suspected fraud," he said. Mia stood in the corner, arms crossed, watching like she was front row at her favorite show. "Fraud?" I barked. "She's the one who emptied my accounts." Torres leaned down, his voice a whisper. "She's filed 3 reports against you. Digital harassment, emotional abuse, even claimed you threatened her life. Screenshots, emails, voice notes, very convincing." I shook my head. None of it was real. I never said or did any of that. He raised a finger. "That's the problem with digital footprints, Marcus. They can be planted, altered, especially when you trust the wrong person with your passwords." That's when I saw it clearly. She hadn't just broken me emotionally. She'd built an entire alternate reality, one where I was the villain and she was the victim. And the worst part? The world would believe her. Because she looked like innocence, and I looked like desperation. They dragged me out the motel, threw me in the back of a blacked-out SUV. No sirens, no backup. This wasn't protocol, this was personal. I kept asking where they were taking me. No one answered. We drove for what felt like hours, but was probably just 45 minutes. Then we stopped. Somewhere rural. Abandoned gas station. Torres got out. So did the other man. Then Mia. They opened the door and pulled me out. No cameras, no witnesses. Just us and the silence. "What is this?" I asked. Mia smiled. "Freedom." "For who?" "For me," she said. "And for you, maybe a chance." Torres lit a cigarette, leaned on the hood. Mia stepped closer. "You're not dumb, Marcus. You're just weak, and that made you easy. I needed a fall guy, someone clean, someone boring, someone no one would question." "And the money?" "Collateral," she shrugged. "To start a new life, off-grid, with him." She nodded toward the man with the tattoo. That's when it clicked. He wasn't just muscle. He was the real puppet master. Mia was just the actress. But she loved the stage. Tattoo Man pulled out a phone, showed me a live feed, my apartment, my computer, my accounts, being drained in real time. "Every penny you've ever worked for," he said. "Gone. Just like her loyalty." Then he tossed the phone into the dirt and crushed it under his boot. Torres walked up to me. "You've got 2 options," he said. "We leave you here, or you disappear. Start over. No cops, no trace, no revenge." Mia leaned in. "And if you come for us, I swear to God, I'll finish what I started." Then they left me there, in the middle of nowhere, cold, broke, framed, alone, but not broken, because even in that silence I felt it, the flicker of something deeper than rage. Resurrection. They thought they'd buried me, but they forgot one thing. I keep receipts. 6 months later. I live off-grid now, different state, different name, bought a fixer-upper cabin with what little I had left in crypto. Thank God for that one account Mia never found. No phone, no social media, just silence. But I wasn't hiding. I was watching. Because you know what they always forget? People like me don't disappear. We evolve. Every morning, I studied. Digital security, deep web tracking, voice cloning, metadata recovery. I taught myself what no degree ever offered, how to burn someone's life down without ever touching them. And I started with Mia and her team. Turns out, Tattoo Neck's real name was Caleb Rosner, ex-con, cyber fraud, assault, and an illegal crypto laundering ring out of Eastern Europe. Torres? Not a real detective. Just a cop impersonator with a forged badge and a deepfake LinkedIn. And Mia? Real name wasn't even Mia. Marissa Claiborne, born in Vegas, arrested twice for identity theft. Once married to a man who vanished, never found. Guess she had practice. But now, it was my turn, and I didn't need a gun, just Wi-Fi. I sent anonymous tips to multiple states, used burner accounts to drop Caleb's alias into FBI forums, built a public Reddit trail exposing Torres's fake credentials. And Mia, I saved her for last. She had rebranded, of course. New city, new hair color, Instagram spiritual guru, peddling affirmations and glow-up tips to lonely women, gaining traction fast. I waited until her follower count hit 40,000. Then I dropped everything. Screenshots, videos, voice clips, bank statements, even her motel texts, watermarked, time-stamped, undeniable. I made it look like an ex-friend leaked it. Within 48 hours, the internet turned on her like wildfire. She lost brand deals, lost followers, lost credibility. And then, the police showed up. Not the fake kind, the real kind. Turns out, one of the banks flagged a suspicious transfer tied to Caleb, who was now on the run after my anonymous FBI tip pinned him in a crypto theft operation. Mia was tied to the same wire. Game over. I watched her get cuffed in real time, live-streamed it, made a private compilation called When the Villain Doesn't Win, sent it to the burner inbox she used for me back then. One line attached, "Still think I'm weak?" She's behind bars now. Torres vanished. Caleb got caught in Prague 3 weeks ago. And me? I'm rebuilding, quietly, but I've changed. I don't trust easily anymore. I see the cracks in smiles, hear lies in laughter, but most importantly, I learned that love without caution is just a loaded gun, and now I never hand the trigger over, ever again. And if you've been watching this story to the very end, you're officially one of us. Welcome to the Vault Seeker. This is where we unlock the untold, where betrayal isn't just entertainment, it's education. If this story lit you up, tap that like, smash that subscribe, and drop a comment below. What would you have done in Marcus's shoes? Because remember, the next story could be yours. You Vault Seekers, you go Infidelity Files, you go Trust No One series, When She Lied, now hit that bell. The next betrayal drops soon, and it's even darker.